So, namaste and welcome to Satsang today. Today, this time that we have together, I would really like to spend in a little guided self-inquiry. And we can do this all together, just exploring who and what we really are together here as a group. And you can do this with your eyes open or closed, but just to explore and to experience. And there's no way to get this wrong. So we don't need to worry about right or wrong here. We're just going to explore together, see if we can come to a more experiential seeing of who we really are, what we are, so that we can begin to move past our mind, always having to listen to our mind when it says that we're never going to get this, or whatever version it's saying to you. My mind always used to say, um, that there was no way I was going to wake up to the truth that it can't happen for me, won't happen for me. And so I always like to kind of try to counteract that as soon as possible by just diving into tasting what we really are, so that when our mind says those things, we can just go, well, I'm already experiencing it. And each time I taste who I really am, experience it, then it becomes a little bit clearer. And that's all that's going to happen is each time it will just be a little more obvious, a little less obscured. And the old sense of who we are is just going to be a little less prominent and eventually very unimportant. Again, not wrong, just not so important. So let's work with our senses also here and engage in our environment so that we can prove that we can notice who we are while we're awake, conscious, and even on a Zoom meeting like this. And we're just going to start with our senses and use whatever our senses are perceiving or our mind is thinking to point us back to what is real about us. So we're not going to fight or try to get rid of anything that appears in our experience. Any of our five senses can and do help us to perceive ourselves clearly. Let's start with the feeling that our body is making when it makes contact with the chair or the couch or whatever you're sitting on. Maybe you're in bed and you can feel the contact that your body is making with the bed, with the chair. Just feel that sensation for a moment. Notice it. I'm obviously sitting on this chair and I can feel the contact that my body is making with the chair. And now just noticing that, bringing attention to that which sees it. So something knows I'm sitting on this chair, knows that feeling. The feeling of my body and the chair making contact is reporting to something about me. Something about me knows. What is it that knows? The feeling. Something already was here and watching, aware, listening, feeling. We could call it consciousness, or doesn't matter what we call it. Something is just here that we've always called I or me. And it immediately knew, right now it knows still the feeling your body is making. And if your feet are on the floor, noticing that something already immediately knows what that feels like. My feet are touching the floor here, and something is aware of that feeling too. Simultaneously, my legs on the chair and my feet on the floor. And switching senses now. Something is listening to what you're listening to. Right now, your ears are taking in vibrational feedback, which we could call these words. It's just vibration, noise coming in for your ears. And something is hearing it, right? Something is listening through your ears, feeling, listening. And when I stop talking, also hears silence. There's something about you that knows words and knows silence already. What is it that knows? Is it a person? Is it a thing, an object? So whether we're hearing sound or silence, something is immediately aware. Notice that that which knows both the sensations in the body we were feeling on the floor and with the chair, and that which also knows these words immediately knows. There's no time for it to come to know. It already is knowing, knowingness. And when there's sensation of the body meeting the chair, there's something for it to know. And when there's words, there's something for it to know. But even without words, it knows no sound, it knows no thingness. There's something about you that is already conscious, sentient, aware. It's aware of what the five senses are taking in. Is there any smell, any fragrance for you? Is your nose detecting any fragrance? And whether there is or isn't any smell, something immediately knows this to be true. The knowingness is perceiving through the senses, but it is independent of the senses. It knows smell or no smell, sensation or no sensation, sound or no sound. Right now, if you're eating something, there'll be some taste sensation in the tongue, on the tongue, in the mouth. Something knows this already. And if we think of our favorite food and we imagine eating it, or if you imagine eating a slice of lemon or something very sharp taste, even though there's no actual food there, you still know that there might be some reaction. Something knows. When you put something in your mouth that's bitter, immediately you know there's a knowingness before even the stimuli comes in that's watching. Something is knowing. And just bringing attention to that which knows. Something knows how your body feels right now, whether it's bored or peaceful or frustrated or happy, cold, hungry. Something knows immediately. What is it? Is it something that can be found? Can you point to it? That which knows, where is it? You may feel that it's only in your head, but can you prove that? If we say, yeah, I'm only in my head, I can feel it. Isn't that just another sensation of which you are aware already? Sensation is in the body, but that which knows sensation, where is that? What is that? And these are questions we don't need to really be able to answer. Answers will come. But just to explore curiously together. If I touch the tip of my fingers together, you can feel the sensation there. The sensation here is happening in the body, in one place here. But that which is aware of it, that which sees and knows it, how it feels, where is it? What is it? So we're just using the presence of phenomena, bodies, sounds, words, sights, tastes, smells, to help us see who we really are. If we look at an object across the room from where we are sitting, it seems like we are here and the object is over there. That's the generally agreed upon statement. I am in one place and the other object I'm looking at is further away across the other side of the room. And there's some distance between me and the object. But the one who knows that sense of distance, the one who knows the body and the other object, where is it? Are you only as big as your body is? Can you prove that? If your eyes are open right now, whatever your eyes are taking in, you know already what you're seeing. Something knows even before the senses. It's here. Whatever you really are is here, constantly. Just knowing, silently knowing, watching, seeing. And if you close your eyes, you know immediately that there is no visual stimuli coming in. That which knows, eyes open or closed, is who you really are. So, whatever experience you have, whether you're confused by this investigation or excited, whether you're bored or peaceful, something already sees this. It's constantly knowing, seeing, being. And in the waking state like this, it's also knowing, seeing, being what the senses are giving it. Later in sleep, there'll be no sensory feedback. It's no longer interested in perceiving through the senses. For that time, the body is asleep. You may see some images flash through the mind in the dream state, and it will immediately, completely know whatever's been seen in the dream. Something even knows the waking state itself. Right now, you're aware that the waking state is here. That same awareness, knowingness, beingness is here in deep sleep and dream. It's watching waking, dreaming, sleeping, waking, dreaming, sleeping, waking, dreaming, sleeping. And we can always use whatever phenomenon is present to see that we're seeing that phenomenon. Whatever comes and goes can be used to point us back to that which is permanently here. If I ask you now to imagine in your mind's eye a question mark, just imagine a question mark. It doesn't matter what color it is, what it looks like, how big it is, whether it feels like it's in here or you're looking at it, it doesn't matter. Just a question mark. As soon as that image arises, something knows it's there. And before the question mark arises, something knew it wasn't there. Now change the image. Replace it with anything you want. Immediately, instantaneously, continuously, you saw the absence of an image and then a question mark, and then it changed to something else. What is it that sees? If you can see and know both nothingness, when there's no sound, you hear only silent nothingness. You hear yourself. And you also know sound, phenomena, words. Who are you then if you already perceive form, phenomena, coming and goingness, and you can perceive that which is the absence of phenomena, your real self? Can you be limited to form or formless, phenomena or noumenon, if you can perceive both, even now? What are you? What if everything that exists in the universe is here to help you recognize yourself that is recognizing? What if it's here to help you see that you are the seer and not what is seen? What are you? Constant knowing, constant knowingness. If there's some epiphany or aha moment that's happened from this investigation, you knew it. You were here to know it before it happened. If some confusion and doubt has arisen, you knew that too. You know it. There's never a time when you are absent as the knowingness itself. There's never a moment when you don't exist as the seer. Pure, invisible, formless sentience, seeing, being, hearing. Through the five senses, you seem to split yourself into watching, listening, tasting, smelling, and all of that. But before the senses, and even during the senses, you are this conscious, alive sentience that can only ever see. Silently watching forever. Watching the presence of a body right now in your experience. Later, you'll watch the absence. And then another body, and it's gone, absence. What time is it for you, the watcher? Are you any different if there's nothing to watch? Even with your eyes closed, you can still see that you can't see through your eyes. Even with your fingers in your ears, you can still hear that there's nothing to hear. Always here, eternally present, formless knowingness itself, not as someone that knows. Even if a thought is appearing right now in front of you, you see it, you're here before it, during and after. Is there a thought in your mind right now? And how do you know? You are the seer of both external, tangible objects and subtle, internal objects, thoughts, emotions, sensations, energy. So we're simply using the presence of all phenomena that we encounter to notice that we're noticing, to see that we're seeing. And here, every single thought we have becomes an aid to our inquiry, to our meditation, to our contemplation. Every sensation, whether pleasant or unpleasant, can be used like this, an all day meditation or inquiry. When we go to work, the visual stimuli will be different than when we're at home, but still we can use it to prove that we're seeing. Even at night time, in sleep, there is no stimuli at all in deep sleep. No time, no change, no duality, no becoming, no phenomena at all. Later, when the body wakes up, we can say there was no phenomena at all. But even while the body is asleep, something is still perceiving, still seeing. It's only that there is nothing to see then. The best use then of this body, this waking state that we have, is to prove and recognize who we really are, that which has no substance and yet perceives all substances. So just gently bringing more and more attention to what is perceiving than what is perceived. Just becoming more interested day by day in what is watching and less fascinated by what we're seeing. It's the highest use of the world, of phenomena, of your body mind, to help you contrast and compare. So I hope you enjoyed that little exploration that we did together. And again, just to remind you, there's no getting it right or getting it wrong. Just if you find somewhere, I can't really be sure of that. What Helen was saying, I'm not really convinced. It's okay. Just okay. That's where I'm gonna hang out and check that out. I'm gonna spend some time investigating that bit. So, if anyone wants to share any questions or challenges that you have, please feel free to raise your hand here on Zoom. We'll go to the Q&A. We'll take up to 5. We'll start with Gudrun. Gudrun, sorry. You're still muted there, Gudrun. There we go. I can't seem to hear you. Can anyone else hear, or is it just me? There we go. Now I can hear you, I think. Say something.
Hello?
There we go. Wonderful.
Yeah, yeah. My earphones are not so good, so I would ask you please to speak up a little bit if possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, Helen. Uh, I just feel the need to sort of speak out and say it loudly that I feel so ready.
Good.
Um, I've been doing this self-inquiry and all kinds, and for so long, and I think I've had frequently this feeling of not not there yet, not good enough, all this you talk about. But I've come to a point where I have to sort of admit that I do feel ready.
That's good. I
And
want to celebrate that with you. I'm celebrating.
and at the same time, it doesn't feel that there's so much I can do.
Just to notice with me now that which is perceiving this experience, this conversation that you and I are having. Just to notice that which is aware of it. Let's do that together now and see what can you tell me about that which sees?
About the only thing that's um, I can report now is a sensation in my chest region, um, like a warmth spreading.
And what notices that sensation?
Excuse me, what did you ask?
What notices the sensation?
Yeah, you know, I almost feel, how can I say, uh, so um, uh, somehow it feels so great to go into this, so holy, that to say, uh, it's my true nature, or it's the I, makes me almost scared um, uh, to mention a name of something that's not yet felt quite true. Uh, Still, I know it's the I behind the I. Recognizing this and talking. If it would only be the little I part of me, um, it couldn't perceive it at all.
And is this I behind the I? I love that. Is this I affected by the fear, the real I,
Affected by the
fear?
by
The
the fear?
mhm.
No. Uh, no, it's not. It's
And
not.
does it even need to feel does it need to feel ready at all? The big I, the real I that we're sensing now.
Hmm. Uh, could you please repeat it?
Does it need to feel even ready?
No, it doesn't need to feel even ready. It's true.
It's the same, even if it feels ready or the mind feels ready or not ready. This
Hmm.
I is the same anyway.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But still, mm, but still, um, I want to live it. The I want to have the opportunity to be the holy I, um, the real I, um, wants to experience from itself
What can stop
all
it
the
from
time.
doing that? What can stop
Pardon?
it? What can hold it back from recognizing itself and living like that?
All the layers of da 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 stuff that has been put upon it through the years and through the lives.
Does any of that hold it back, though? Let's really look and see. It's a very popular idea that I have to
Mm.
clear away everything before I can live like this. But what if it's not true, that idea?
On one level, I would say, in one level, I believe it, but on another level, I know you're right too.
Maybe when we clear away all that stuff, we have more fun,
Mm.
but we're still ourself, real
Mm.
self, either way. This I behind the I is watching sadness and doubt and confusion exactly the same as it would watch joy and expansion and freedom.
It's true. I know it's true. It's recognized when you say it.
Hmm. So this might be the most important thing to remember then, that I am always myself, no matter
Mm.
what phenomenon or what state is happening in the body.
Mm.
And then when you remember that and experience it, that I am unchanged, that which sees doubt or joy is exactly the same seer. Then it tends to happen that we see more joy and more freedom and more expansion and less doubt. This feeling, um, this feeling that I'm ready now, it's good, but it's even that is perceived.
True.
What is it that's always being watched, and watching rather? What is it that's always watching? Even before the body arose, it was here watching.
Mm.
That's who you are.
Mm. I know. It's recognized also. I know it's true.
Can anything stop you from being yourself then? Any thought?
Only the idea that anything that I can be that it can be stopped. Only the idea can stop me.
Yeah.
Mm.
And even then, not really. Even then, it gives you an experience of being as someone, a small being.
Mm.
But still, you are yourself, even then.
It's true.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Thank you so much for sharing with me.
Thank you, Helen. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Wonderful. We'll go to Ben when you're ready.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. I think you just pretty well answered the question, and I know the intellectual answer is fine. Um, I guess meditation's good, and in the day I can feel stillness readily. But the last few days, it's just been this oppressive, like to the point of tears, that it's just a hopelessness, I guess, that it's been present. I mean, I'm fine to keep going with
Mhm.
life and everything, but and I know the intellectual answer that I can be the one watching that, or it's not really me, or but nonetheless, it feels really horrible to be in that, feeling that. Um,
I remember it very well. Not very nice at all.
I mean, it's not that frequent, I guess, but it keeps coming, and
Maybe
it
let's
seems a
look at it.
paradox almost that
Let's
the
look into it
spiritual
then. Let's
stuff.
see. What does it want to say to you, this feeling? What is it?
um,
You said hopelessness, I think, right? Tell me a little bit more about it.
well, it's kind of like, what's the point of anything in the worldly sense? It's like
Hmm.
meaninglessness of, but sometimes it's fun and it's reasonably joyous as well. But when it's this is quite a long standing conditioning or whatever, I suppose. But it's yeah, just what's the point really? And,
Can we ask that question together? Let's explore that question. If you want to, we could do a little contemplation here together.
all right. Yeah.
Just asking this question and seeing all the answers that arise, sounds in your environment, thoughts, feelings, whatever arises in answer to that question, just share with us. Because these things, when we don't look into them, they often hang around, as I'm sure you've experienced. And I remember this feeling, if I'm not any phenomena, what's the point in all of this, you know? But let's play with this question, actually. Like, what is the point in all of this? Just asking this question, what is the point? Is there a point? And I'm not asking you to make answers appear. Let's just see what happens. If we sit here together in silence, totally okay. What is the point of all of this?
Guess my answer is that the point is to discover reality or the truth. I don't know if that's coming from the intellect or not, but
It doesn't matter. Every answer is valid, right? Whether it's wherever it's coming from. And
but
let's
that's part
just
of the feeding of the problem as well, because that's like saying, well, the world is stuff not as
come back to the question as well. Like, what is the point? See if you can be curious about it. What is the point? As much curiosity as you can bring. How does your body feel when you ask this?
I'm getting like a contraction in my stomach and
Uh-huh.
feeling an emotion of sadness, I guess, coming maybe.
So
But
we can count those as answers too. The contraction is a kind of energetic answer. The sadness is an emotional answer. It's okay. Just coming back to the question again. What is the point in all of this? Again, not trying to make anything happen, just seeing what does happen.
I mean, I'm noticing the stillness and the kind of aliveness on my body.
Wonderful. These answers might feel nicer than the contraction. Maybe the
Yeah,
contraction's still
yeah.
there. It's okay.
Well, the contraction's gone, but
Just coming back to the question again. What is the point of all of this? We're just kind of opening a door with the question. What is the point?
feels pretty uncomfortable in the body.
Mm-hmm. Can call that a sensation answer. That's okay. Not so nice, but still okay. And just gently coming back to the question again.
Like the illness wants to come out as a word, as an answer, but I don't know if that makes any sense, really.
Kind of a feeling, a sensation, yeah, we could say. Are you feeling any more peaceful than before we asked the question?
Not exactly, no. But I mean, the depressive feeling wasn't here anymore when I asked the question either. The, I'm feeling a lot more aliveness and energetic
Yeah.
feeling in the body. But, yeah.
Can you see that these things might arise in the mind, these ideas, these doubts or questions that arise are really arising to ask us to look into them? That they feel that there's literally energy trapped right in the body with this doubt. Like, what is the point of all of this then? That when we look into it, when we question it, some energy can really begin to move. Maybe it's not even about this question. Maybe it's just someplace we didn't really want to look at. If we are the looking or the seeing itself, and there's some idea or doubt that we don't want to look at, we're kind of being opposite to who we really are in that moment. And it feels terrible. The energy closes down and kind of gets stuck, right?
Mm.
So if we can allow ourselves to, if we can allow ourselves to question these things, whenever we hit any road bump like this, we can just kind of, even if we don't know what the question is, we can just go into it like, what is this? What is this that I'm feeling? What is this sensation? And the moment we do that, something begins to open up inside. The energy can sort of move again. Can you feel most of the time we're kind of doing this, like I don't really want to look at this, it's
Yeah, and it feels like the identification's too strong to look at it
that's why it's
properly.
good in
Or,
the calmer moments like this to just gently learn to question, to play with the question And then those moments when it seems to surge and rise up, it won't be as strong or wouldn't feel as overwhelming. It could be that every negative emotion or doubt that we have is a question waiting to be asked, to be explored. And as soon as we're willing to look towards it rather than away from it, it will begin to shift. Might have to question a little bit consistently if it's a very well believed idea that we've had for a while, or
Mm.
ever since we thought we were a separate being. But it can be turned around like this, just gently by questioning. The longer you stay with the question, and you can do it like, 5 or 10 minutes a day or whenever you feel like it, the more energy is going to be able to move in the body, the less you can believe this idea. And the identification with the body is falling away at the same time.
So the prime time is when that feeling comes up.
If you can,
Like,
we can't always then, right? Sometimes it's just too intense, right? We can't even maybe remember that we're supposed to ask a question at that point. For me, when there was a strong feeling in the body, sometimes I could remember, sometimes I couldn't. It was just, I felt like I was gone, lost in the identification for a while, or hours, or whatever. If you can do it when it's arising, that's great, but it's just as good in between like this when there's a little calmness or more space to inquire, to ask.
yeah, I noticed if I meditate when I'm in that hopelessness state, that it will sort of dissolve it and I'll feel fine. And the meditation can be fine. But I'm probably not as used to using a question. So,
Some things for me would go away like that, just to feel the energy of it. Some things I had to question like this. And I found out actually that everything my mind was saying in a way was true. It is hopeless for me to try to stay as who I really am or to live as that. In a weird way, the mind was right because I am that or always. And there's no way for me to try to live like this or embody this or any of those things that we think we have to do. And we've tried so hard to do those things and keep failing. We keep seemingly getting lost again. There's a question like this, I began to realize maybe the mind is really trying to help me here with this idea, this emotion, this heavy emotion that keeps coming. But only once I'd started to question, that was what became clear. What is it we're trying to do here anyway? The hopelessness. What is it we're trying to achieve?
what is the hopelessness trying to achieve?
Mm. And is it your job? When I checked out these things, I found that they weren't actually my work to do. I was already me. Have always been. And I was trying to fix the problems that are going on in the mind. What do you need to achieve? You, the real self, what do you need to achieve? Do you need to get rid of the illusion even?
No, I know that, but still the identification, I guess.
Yeah, so just by working with these doubts and these things that come up, just questioning like this, what is it? What is it you're trying to tell me? And is it actually my job? Because otherwise I think it's my job, right? If I don't investigate, I automatically assume it's hopeless for me,
Hmm.
pointless. And there's a big gift in these things, these emotions when they come, these states. Of course, they don't feel like a gift. They feel like the most unwanted gift of all. But if you can turn towards them a little bit like we've been doing here, something quite magical happens with them. Wonderful. Thank you for exploring with me.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we will leave it there for today. And thank you all for your contribution and the inquiry together that we did and the sharing. Deeply appreciate it. Thank you. Namaste.